The health disorder epidemics nobody wants to talk about. Hey, I'm Robin Openshaw, the green smoothie girl online, and probably because I type about 150 words per minute and I try to be responsive to people online the last 18 years, I just talk to more people than the average person does. I might interact with hundreds of times more people than the average person, probably. Plus, I'm a former therapist and I pay really close attention to human behavior. I try not to make generalizations, but because I talk to so many people and I ask so many questions, I try to have a pulse on what the trends are. Like why massive herds of people believe things that are false or partly false, and suddenly will start buying, for instance, billions of dollars worth of a product that cannot help them due to a lot of marketing. But today I want to review the health problems that are incredibly common that people talk to me about every day that nobody talks about in social settings, even to their friends. People bring them to me probably because of the safety factor of being behind a device screen and not having the awkward or even humiliating experience of telling me their really uncomfortable health problems face to face. I'm going to share a short list with you of the dreadful things that people write to me about. What it's done for me is to motivate me to keep a steady course with my own health. I detoxify twice a year because I eat a healthy diet, but we all unfortunately live in a toxic soup, everything from chemtrails to the occasional travel or restaurant food to the stuff in a plastic water bottle or a cup of coffee in a to-go cup. So I'm motivated to do two things regularly without fail. First, eat a whole foods plant-based diet. And second, I detoxify twice a year. Ask me for a free class on either one. If you're interested in starting with one of them, detoxifying or shifting to a whole foods diet, we'll share it. But the following are the things that you may never or rarely hear about, but they are absolute epidemics. Number one, hemorrhoids and anal fissures. If you have this, it's entirely a diet-related illness, and you don't bring it up at the cocktail party, no matter how much pain you're in. You just don't go, or you leave early. You don't sit down either. Number two, thinning vaginal walls. Roseanne Barr created a bit of awareness about this because she talks about it openly, but it's a much more common problem than you think. And if you have this condition, you're done having sex for life. Number three, speaking of never having sex again, well, over 90% of elderly men have prostate cancer, and the treatment for it also guarantees that they'll never have sex again either. And if you think that a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old man doesn't care about having sex, you really ought to have a talk with a gentleman of that age. The short answer is they do care. Anyway, these guys will die with prostate cancer, not of it, by and large, but many of them don't get that information and they go through a treatment that destroys their sexual health. Number four, there's an epidemic going on of balding patches on women's heads and a lot of shedding of hair for both men and women. They're covering it up with hair extensions or wearing a hat or all kinds of salon magic, but it's freaking a lot of people out. Number five, we have tons of men and women, both, with hormones out of balance and even low testosterone in young men. I'm talking to a 20-something and a 30-something young men about their low T right now. If men have low testosterone, they may have a hard time putting weight and muscle on, and they may have a hard time getting it up, keeping it up, or finishing. And if I put that too delicately for you to understand what I'm saying there, I'm talking about sex. Erectile dysfunction causes you to have issues with getting it up, keeping it up, or finishing. It's actually a cardiovascular problem at its source. I suspect that the product that everyone started injecting in December of 2020 for the culprit on the meteoric rise in endocrine problems and some of these other health-related epidemics I'm listing out here too. And six, this is a catch-all category, but countless strange symptoms that no one can explain. You can go to a doctor, spend a bunch of money, and no one knows exactly what's wrong. Nobody even tries to figure out why it's happening, though you may become a medical experiment with your doctor trying a bunch of drugs and procedures that often don't work. Interventions that are targeting the symptom, not the underlying problem. From bruising easily with bruises that don't go away to out of the blue back pain and so many more. Again, these strange health problems went through the roof in 2021. Okay, I could go on all day with this list. I'm not covering the ones that everybody else is covering, like heart attack, stroke, blood clots, neurodegenerative disease, turbo cancer. I'm covering the things nobody wants to talk about because of shame, because these are health problems that we all have this collective unwritten rule that we don't talk about it out loud in this culture. In fact, every time a man talks to me about erectile dysfunction or testosterone problems, he uses the acronym TMI because he's nervous that he's giving me too much information. It appears to me that the health issues I've just covered are actually at epidemic numbers, even though I think these issues aren't being studied with so many other issues we're focused on. But some limited evidence or data points causes me to believe that we've seen hockey stick growth in these health disorders. But that list I just shared is kind of a day in the life of the kinds of communications I get from people. Anyway, all of this since late 2020 has motivated me to stay the course on detoxifying twice a year and remaining committed to the easy, sustainable, inexpensive habits I employ to eat whole foods, mostly plant-based. Mostly when people come to me with their health issues, they're asking me what they can take for the problem. And I can't get outside of scope. I can't diagnose, treat, or prescribe. But what I know from once being very sick myself and having to get well is that there's no skipping those two steps if you want to be healthy. You absolutely have to adopt a far more whole foods, unprocessed diet, and you absolutely have to decrease your toxic load. If you want to watch a short video course I made about either of those topics, we'll share both of them here with you. Would you consider doing a fairly hardcore 26-day detox? I'll share a free class on it. Are you considering crossing the bridge from the standard American diet to a whole foods diet? I'll share a free class on that. So just jump in and I will see you inside the video class. Thank you for following Green Smoothie Girl the past 18 years, and I'll see you next time.